Hello. Okay. Little housekeeping. I had worn these AdTech boots again for one day prior to wearing today's video boots. So these didn't give me so much the blisters as the previous time, but they did cut me again below the ankles. So I was a little annoyed. And then, sorry for the nonsense. Okay, this is supposed to be a 2-month video, which technically would usually be a 3-month video, but I don't think anything's going to change much in the next month. And as far as actual wearing, it's more like a 2-week video because, again, I was trying to slot in other boots, the Thursday boots, the AdTech boots. Later, I got some other new boots. So, again, the Golden Fox, which you can see is not very much wear on these at all. But you can see some distressing along the tongue and maybe some creasing up in here and discoloration from the asphalt. And, the wear on both is basically the same. And we're going to talk about this in a minute. And then the Wolverines, a little less discoloration. You can't see much creasing because it's suede, not leather, but you can see where it's been worn, and you can see a little bit of creasing here, maybe. A little bit of squish. And the second one, a little bit of wear there, not as much on the left as the right. The left overall. You can see where the lace is. That's for me pulling them tight. Okay, so my original assessment, I don't have too much to contradict. I tried to put in a pair of these in these, and they were too thick, so I put these in the Carolina boots, and they actually fit pretty good now, but not comfortable enough to walk around on asphalt, again, because still they have that big chunky heel. So for those of you who are curious about the Carolina boots, yes, I can kind of wear them without having to do all that extensive modification I was going to try and do. And no, I haven't worn them more than one day. Okay, so let's do these in order. But what I had said before was the Wolverine, a little wider here, a little bit more defined heel here. Exactly true. So my feet prefer this, but don't prefer this. So I'm constantly, and as I said, the lacing system has less holes. So I'm constantly trying to pull these tight to get them snug. But once my feet kind of swell into them, they're more or less the right fit. Whereas these are a little narrower, which actually for me is a little better, but back here is more of the problem. So what happened was, and now if I had worn the Wolverine first and these second, I might have dismissed these altogether and just said automatic fail, because these gave me worse blisters right off the bat, whereas these only gave me a small blister initially, but after I already had pretty bad blisters from these. So this really exacerbated those blisters. So that was when I tried to see if this insole would work, and it didn't. And then the last couple of days I tried the gel insole, and these are worn out ones from some old army boots that I had that I used to use for general hiking and other kind of purposes. And it's still a little too thick here, so it pushes my heel up and then gives me new blisters where I had other blisters that were healing or whatever, and not quite enough squish here. Overall, I think I said, yes, these are less cushiony. These are more cushiony. How long that cushion lasts. I talked about this somewhat in one of the other videos. And I don't know if you can see the Golden Fox, just a footbed. I didn't really try to put the insoles in here as seriously because narrower fit here, just really no room, whereas that one has the bigger toe box, so I thought I could kind of get away with it. But here, back here, not as much on the left boot, but extremely on the right boot. I don't know if it was from me pulling it tight or just walking, but this here, we have a confluence of 3 issues. Sorry for the shoelaces kind of flying around. If you can see this kind of cloth counter or paper counter in there, that heel, that wore really bad within like the first hour. Like I literally wore them for an hour and already took them off, and that was already all rubbed away. And this creasing had already started and gouging the back of my leg. So that was where that issue happened. So again, after a day or two, I should have, put on some more moleskin or some Band-Aids or something, or wore thicker socks or whatever, but I wanted to do the test pure. So I wanted to kind of wear the same socks for both boots and all that kind of thing, and regular army cotton socks. And yada, yada, yada. And again, the lacing system here, a little more forgiving, maybe. And of course, these are the taller ones. So that may skew the test slightly if you want to get too technical. And this collar is less padded, as we know, but that doesn't really affect me at all. So this was basically sawing my leg open for a couple days, and then I switched to these and didn't help it much, but didn't hurt it too much more. Because like I said, I got less blisters with those. So if I'd worn those first and gotten like only one little blister, I probably would have said, oh, they're great, or more or less good. And then I'd switched to these, I probably would have been like, oh, they're miserable, don't buy these. But actually, I'm not giving these a complete fail, because apart from this, because you might have different shaped feet than mine too, but apart from this not quite being exactly what I want, like I said, the overall kind of fit is actually a little, dare I say, better in a way. And like I said, a little more cushiony insole where I don't feel like I need to add any insoles to kind of make them fit or whatever. I think, and I haven't done this yet, but I think with thicker socks, I wore a little bit thicker socks the one day, but not like thick boot socks. Just socks that were less. Well, this wanted to wear out the socks I had on. Those army socks almost got holes in them just from rubbing here. So there's that. And they were not beat up old crummy socks like, I sometimes wear with, sneakers and comfortable boots or whatever. So yeah, might be a little bit of blood still in there. You can't really see it, but so yeah, unfortunately, I can't really give you, what kind of overall assessment maybe you're expecting yet, because like I said, if you added up the amount of time I wore them, it's maybe a week each, which is almost nothing. So, but like I said, I have other boots that I have to focus on, but I will be wearing these and not completely neglecting them. So when I do the next update, it'll be much more of a correct update. But someone was asking me about these the other day, so I said I'll probably do a video on them soon, and I decided I'll do it now. So again, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and hit me up.